And welcome back to Metropole Sports Center. My name is Nashon Oano. Still recovering from the game that was played yesterday, that is Arsenal versus Manchester United. Well, I don't want to delve too much into it. That's a conversation that you're going to be having on another time. As I promised you in the first part of the show, you're going to be talking about matters weights on the show. I know we've previously talked about fitness on this particular show, but today we are going to be delving onto a matter that is sometimes quite confusing. That is weightlifting. Just what is the difference between weightlifting and the usual gym training? And joining me on set today is Mr. Webstar Lukose, who's the founder and a coach at Uzani Weightlifting. Webstar, welcome to Metropole Sports Center.
Thank you.
Very quickly, Webstar, maybe you can talk to us about what Uzani Weightlifting is about.
So basically, Uzani Weightlifting is a weightlifting team, or rather a small weightlifting club, mainly concerned about promoting the use of weightlifting activities, either for sport or as part of a fitness regime.
Okay. Maybe you can delve deeper a bit about Uzani Weightlifting as the founder and coach at Uzani Weightlifting. What probably inspired you to start Uzani?
I've been a national weightlifting athlete for almost 10 years now, and it's a sport that I love. And transitioning from being a national athlete into the society, I figured out that I can be able to help others learn the sport and help people get healthy and fit through weightlifting.
Okay. Sometimes not many athletes have had the opportunity to represent the country in the international colors. Maybe you've had the opportunity to represent the country outside. Probably, what are some of the lessons that you've learned being out there representing the country?
One of the rather major lessons I've learned is I can be able to transition from the field of play into the society to something bigger that can be of more help to the society, more than just playing or rather lifting as a sport. Mm. And I've learned a lot going through the world and experiencing the big competitions that I can come back home and try to bring up the sport and the events to even like bigger heights, just like in the international events that I've been through.
Okay. Webstar, right now you're not competing professionally. Right now you're doing it for fun. And I think one of the things that I really admire about you doing it for fun is the passion that you have. Where do you get the energy to wake up every single day and get to the gym and do a training? I know that's something that most of us, or if not all of us, are struggling with.
I think the major thing, or rather the only thing that you need, is passion. To me, if you don't have passion for what you do, I think when the times get tough, the only energy you can cling on is passion, because it can make you do things even when you don't feel like doing them. So I really depend on my passion, and it's really translating to me working better and committing my life into weightlifting because I'm so passionate about it.
Okay. A topical thing that really confuses people is what people don't know is there are different aspects of being in the gym. There is weightlifting, there's the usual gym workouts. Maybe you can delve much deeper into what probably are the differences between the two, that is weightlifting and the usual gym training that people usually go for, you know, running on the treadmill and things like that.
So weightlifting, let me talk of weightlifting in terms of fitness. It's just that many people are not aware about weightlifting as part of fitness. So for the past so many years, or rather conventionally, people rely on cardio as the only means to get fit. But cardio is just one aspect of fitness because it's just about cardiovascular endurance. But how about strength, bones, joints, ligaments, and muscles, which really degenerate as you grow older? So especially the more you grow older, the more weightlifting comes in handy to help you have healthier bones, joints and ligaments and muscles and strength, because mostly like Our elderly people, they lose muscle because they don't really use it. They become fragile and weak because they don't lift any objects. But we have designed it into a training regime whereby we have weights shaped into barbells or kettlebells or dumbbells, where you can use them to be able to feel, or rather to complete you to being fit in every way. So we have cardiovascular fitness, that's running or any highly endurance exercise. Then we have weightlifting, which is plays, or rather makes you complete in the way that I just explained before.
Okay. When people are going to the gym, I think one of the usual goals that people have is, oh, I want to have a six-pack. Are there like goals that people can have within weightlifting, you know?
Yes. Number one goals that many people talk about is PRs. If you're familiar with that name, simply means personal record. For example, yesterday I was lifting 5 kilos. I come the next week, I lift 10 kilos and more. So you can be able to set goals on how much you lift. The more you train, the stronger you get, and you are able to lift more. Another way is form, or rather technique. So in weightlifting, we really teach and emphasize on proper positioning and form, which you use to move objects, such that when you're in everyday life, when lifting objects, maybe grocery or moving things up and down, you can be able to still stay safe without really breaking your back or a joint.
Okay. Let's talk about the diet aspect of weightlifting. I know sometimes people associate probably weight gain to food. Here is a situation where you're gaining muscles. What are some of the dietary changes that somebody needs to make in the process of weightlifting?
Key thing is protein. Yeah, carbs, carbohydrates, we normally have them in plenty, but people hardly get enough protein, which are needed to replenish your muscles after going through a physical activity, especially involving like lifting objects, especially weightlifting. So for us, our main concern is to up our protein intake to be able to balance our diet.
Okay. I know somebody watching will be interested. You mentioned carbohydrates and proteins, but Webster, how much ugali is too much ugali? Is there something like that, a measure of how much carbohydrates you're supposed to take?
All right. I don't really like using the scale. I prefer something sustainable. So a portion of ugali can really be like a handful of ugali. That's just enough carbohydrates, and or rather any type of carbohydrates. Just a handful of it in any sitting meal is enough carbohydrates to fuel you through the day. But most people really end up taking too much carbohydrates, and you know, carbohydrates, they're not flushed out of the body. When they get excess in the body, they are stored as fat, and that's how you might end up gaining weight. But it's really like fuel storage, which you're not really using it. But you just need enough carbohydrates. It's like fuel. Just put in fuel enough to take you through the day. Otherwise, if you put it in excess, it gets stored under the skin and the organs as fat.
Okay. Probably before we talk about the event that is going to be taking place this weekend, as a weightlifting coach, probably when you're watching videos and you're walking into the gym and you see people doing things, what are some of the wrong things, or some of the things that, I beg your pardon, some of the things that probably people are doing and you're like, no, you're not supposed to be doing things the way you're doing?
First of all, I think we need to get out of mediocrity by seeking education and better practice. For example, I'm trying to play my role in teaching people what I've learned. So one of the things really misunderstood, or rather ignored, is first of all is the basic safety measures when you want to train, or rather to lift weights. So it comes with better coaching and better guidance, and with higher experience you can be able to teach people, especially on form. Like the technique that you're using has to be safe, and safety comes first in everything that we do. So we teach you the proper positions to get before you lift any weights. So one of the major things people ignore is guidance. You need a coach. That's the purpose of a coach, to help you. And another is just obey the safety rules and basic guidelines that are set, whether in a gym or in any environment that you're training. Just obey them, then you'll be able to stay safe. For example, for me, I've been lifting for about 10 years, never had any major injuries, never had to seek any medical attention to be treated, because I've really followed the rules, and I've really had to seek help from more experienced people and coaches, and that's the way I've had a longevity for the 10 years of lifting.
Okay. Probably as we wrap up, Webster, maybe you can talk about the event that you're going to be having tomorrow. That is at the Alpha Fit Gym. Who needs to be there? What do you need to be there? Why do you need to be there tomorrow?
So we have an event, Uzani Power Weekend, tomorrow starting 1 p.m. at Alpha Fit Gym along Gong Road. And anybody who wants to learn about weightlifting, anybody interested, if you have seen weightlifting on the screen, on TV, on the internet, tomorrow is a very great place to be, to physically witness how the sport goes. And interestingly, we have even more ladies who are going to be there lifting as participants than even men. So it's going to be an interesting show for everybody to come as we debunk the myths about weightlifting, and helping the public to know that you can really do weightlifting for fitness or for sport, depending on your goals.
Okay. Maybe you can talk to us about probably how many teams have already registered, or how many individuals have already registered for tomorrow's event.
We have about 40 athletes. 60% is ladies. From different gyms, different teams. It's about 10 different teams which have signed up for the event tomorrow.
Maybe, Webster, you can talk about, I know you've been in the weightlifting industry for far too long, and looking at the demographic, you mentioned a very interesting thing is more ladies are now getting into weightlifting. What do you think is the changing dynamic there? Because for the longest time we've been associating men with weightlifting, so to speak.
One of the things is trying to re-educate the public by debunking the myths and misconceptions and misunderstanding and misinformation and unawareness about weightlifting. So nowadays, I've played a good role trying to help my clients, especially the ladies, and teaching them like the importance of lifting weights, such that you focus on the physical, rather fitness aspect of weightlifting, rather than the old misconception and misunderstanding that ladies are not supposed to lift weights.
Okay. Webster, if there's somebody who's interested in joining Uzani weightlifting, how do they get in touch with you?
Get online, especially on Instagram at Uzani Weightlifting, or rather hashtag Uzani Weightlifting. You can be able to follow up and reach out to us and contact us. And our physical location is Alpha Fit Gong Road.
Okay. Thank you so much, Webster. Always nice talking. Always nice talking to you about matters of fitness. I'm wishing you all the best in tomorrow's event. I'm pretty sure we are going to meet again to talk about matters fitness.
All right. Come on, come all tomorrow. 1 p.m. is the time.
Okay. That wraps up the second part of Metropole Sports Center. We do take a short commercial break. After the break, I have an exclusive interview with the former FKF Vice CEO, that is Mr. Herbert Mwachiro. Don't touch that dial. We'll be coming back with much more in Matters Sports.